fight in Tampa late last year, and he's got skill. I mean, he clearly looks like the skilled fighter, but Desmaret's coming out to try to end things early in this fight, Carl.
He is definitely starting out the aggressor, but again, it's early. Let's see how long that lasts. We've seen that last fight with Younger doing the same thing, and that kind of faded, as gradually it went to. He didn't get the nod. This guy Desmaret is a little shorter, and he needs to apply a little pressure if he intends to do what he's doing. But he looks to be in a little better condition than the last guy.
Well, Sal, I had a chance to talk with Serge Cadillas, and one of the things he said about his previous fight was that he felt that he wasn't able to display what he feels are his skills. He felt that he got roped into fighting a do or die, rock'em sock'em type fight, and it seems like Desmaret is trying to get him into the same kind of fight here.
I agree, and you know what? But Desmaret is fighting his fight, and he's got to learn how to fight his own fight. And I think right now,
it's now time for Talkin' Boxing with Billy C. It began as a podcast, went live on the net, and transformed into a full-blown empire across the web.
Vicky,
on Fight Now
you watch
TV,
it on their screen,
and on radio stations around the world.
You watch it on their screen.
It's the only daily boxing talk radio show on the planet, hosted by the only guy with the balls to do it. Many have stepped into the ring. Many have tried to take the belt, and one by one, they've fallen. Another victim of the undisputed heavyweight champion of boxing talk radio. Talkin' Boxing with Billy C is on now.
My style is impetuous, my defense is impregnable, and I'm just ferocious. I want your heart.
And we're coming to you live from Sal's Neighborhood Pizzeria Italian Restaurant in beautiful St. Simons Island, Georgia. I'm Billy C, joined with Sal Rocky Senecola, and we're here to do the Billy C. Cotto Canelo pre-fight show. And Sal, we got a couple of good fights on tonight.
Yes, we do.
Starting first with the Cotto Canelo fight. I know you and I have been talking a lot about this fight over the last few days. What's your bottom line after all of the dissecting and after all of the research? What do you think is going to happen in this fight?
What I think that's going to happen is going to be a war. It's going to be a great fight. It's going to be the kind of fight that boxing is all eyes on, to wish for this kind of confrontation to take place in the ring. And you're going to see Miguel Cotto come out at 36 years of age. He's going to come out with a fury. I think he's going to want to strike early. But I think Canelo Alvarez, being a little stoic but yet so deliberate with his power, is going to use some defense and wait for a couple of rounds. And then you're going to see him coming on. And I think he's going to land some powerful shots. Ultimately, it's going to be a great fight. A little ebb and flow early. But by the later rounds, I think Canelo Alvarez will start hurting Miguel Cotto and possibly stop the fight.
A little backdrop on this. Miguel Cotto going into this fight was the WBC World Middleweight Champion, and he also held the Ring Magazine World Championship. Yes. Now, going into this fight, he had some differences of opinion with the WBC, and he decided not to pay the sanctioning fee. So ultimately, 2 days ago, the WBC has stripped Miguel Cotto of his title. So he's technically going into this fight as the former champion. So the only guy that has a chance to win this belt is Saul Canelo Alvarez. Do you think that changes any kind of the complexion of this fight?
I think going in, maybe Cotto feels he's going to have to step it up and he wants to regain a title belt that he lost, that he forfeited.
He can't win it.
He can't win it because he resigned.
If he wins the fight, he gets no belt.
He gets no belt.
So the only guy that can get the belt is Saul Canelo Alvarez. And it's all about the money.
It's all about the money.
Because he didn't pay the sanctioning fee, which kind of gives me reason to believe that, and again, something that Sal and I have talked about off air, is I think that Miguel Cotto has already retired. He's talking about, this might be his last fight, and he's going to do this, he's going to do that. Remember, when he signed his deal with Rock Nation, they packaged in like a music deal with him too, so that he could produce music. So I kind of think, when you're thinking about retirement before the fight, you're already retired, right?
Well, it's like the old school. You got to go in with the eye of the tiger. You have to have tunnel vision. You have to have that burning desire. And you're in a ring not to fool around, not to parlay and hope for a second career. You're in a ring to do the business at hand and to win at any cost. And that title belt or whatever you're fighting for, the passion, the glory, the claim to fame is all that should be in your mind, not a secondary career that you're going to parlay this one to go and do. So on that level, yeah, I think we're going to see a good fight.
Well, now I'll put on the defense of Miguel Cotto hat, and I say, maybe Cotto's got something to prove. Maybe he says, hey, listen, I'm in the same class as a Manny Pacquiao or a Floyd Mayweather. I don't need a belt. I don't need a belt to sell tickets. I don't need a belt to sell pay-per-views. I'm going to win this fight,
right.
And who cares about the belt? And by the way, you and I both agree, the sanctioning fee was $1.1 million that he would have had to pay. That's a lot of money to pay for a belt.
That you have.
He could buy one in Ring Magazine or something. He could probably order a belt cheaper than that. But, I mean, so maybe he's got something else to prove.
To himself and maybe to all of his fans. Exactly that.
Now, when we look at Saul Canelo Alvarez, to me, this is a young fighter that has been developing exactly how I would like to see a fighter. He's only 25 years old. We saw him in his first, I'll say, huge fight. It was against Floyd Mayweather. And he lost that fight. But just like we were doing out in the parking lot, I feel he's learned a lot from that fight. I think one of his drawbacks for Canelo Alvarez is that he has a tendency to stand lock and load. He stands right in front of his opponent. He wants his feet to be in position before he lets his hands go. Right. And anybody with some kind of movement kind of forces him to reboot, reset
right.
over and over and over. That's something that we're going to be looking for tonight to see if he's improved that,
right.
because he's not going to be able to win this upper-level opponents if he can't move and throw punches at the same time.
No, and that's true, Billy. And, that was such a going-to-school process for him against Mayweather. And I think if he had waited a year and a half to 2 years, he'd be fully in charge of that fight, or definitely putting up more of an offense and getting to Mayweather earlier. But I think he has learned, and we're going to see tonight exactly if he's able to punch and move side to side and keep that body so well keep his legs so well under his position and under his body to deliver those blows. And when he can punch from the hip or punch low and punch high and do it from all different angles, that's when we're going to see him come around and be well-rounded and able to fight anybody.
One of the things that we're always talking about is ring generalship. And it's always like people say, what is ring generalship? And that's like a trick question. Well, if a fighter's trying to cut the ring off, trying to position his opponent where he likes to be offensive-minded or what have you, that's ring generalship. I think Saul Canelo Alvarez is going to show us tonight if he's developed more ring generalship to be able to control where Cotto goes. Because Cotto, I agree with you, I think Cotto's going to come after Canelo. Canelo is known for running out of gas later in the fights, so maybe Cotto thinks he's better conditioned, although he's given up 10 years. I mean, Cotto's 10 years older than Canelo. But I have a feeling that Canelo has corrected that wrong, so to speak. I think he can deliver punches on the move, and I think we're going to see that, So I want to give a shout out to our Ustream and YouTube audiences. Glad you guys could be with us. And while we're at it, I want to thank Sal and his delicious food here at Sal's Neighborhood Pizzeria in St. Simon's Island. I also want to thank the King and Prince. Beautiful resort, beautiful. Man, that we're staying at, and we love it there. And anytime you come down to Georgia, you got to stay at the King and Prince, www.kingandprince.com, or just give them a call, 1-800-342-0212, and mention Sal Rocky Sanicola, and you'll get some special pricing on that. Now, in addition to the main event, which is Miguel Cotto and Saul Canelo Alvarez, we are going to see some other good fights. But before I talk about the other fights, there is the one fight that got you all riled up.
Oh, yeah.
Randy Caballero scheduled to make the first defense of his IBF World Bantamweight Championship. The fight was scratched, Sal, and the reason why is because the champion, Randy Caballero, was 5.5 pounds overweight, was not able to make weight, and subsequently they canceled the fight altogether. What's your thoughts on that?
I am livid. Let me tell you something. You're a paid professional. You're making millions of dollars, and you sign a contract not 3 weeks before a fight, not a month before a fight, but usually 6 to 8 weeks to 12 weeks before a fight. You have plenty of time to map out your training regimen, your diet going into the fight, so you're honed in, you're reaching your peak, and you're going to be a fighting machine by the time you're hungry and ready to enter that ring of battle.
Yeah, but let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
You would know at least a week out if you're not on weight, right?
Yes, if you're not on weight, you just got to do the favorite exercise. Push yourself away from the table.
Right.
And not eat.
Put the food down.
Put the food down.
Yeah, but, and that's been something that we've always talked about on my show. A good fighter, the weight shouldn't be the issue during training camp. The weight, it's not. You're not going through training camp for a conditioning program. You're supposed to be going through training camp to prepare yourself for the fight.
That's right.
So if this guy was having trouble making weight and it turned out to be a fitness camp, maybe he wasn't ready for it, whether he weighed the right weight or not.
That's a good point, Billy. Very good point. Like I said, when you're a professional, you know your body. You know what it's going to do and how it's going to perform and what you're going to sustain, the level of fuel, what you do with intake of food and calories and liquids and all that. So there's no excuse why he shouldn't have been down to his weight at least a week before the fight and then hover around there. And all you do is you stop drinking the night before, you drop another 2 or 3 pounds, and you're right on.
Whoa. Stop drinking the night before.
Whoa, wait, I forgot.
I'm sorry.
No.
I thought you meant me.
Let me preface it with this.
We're talking about when you're a professional fighter. Right.
Drinking liquids, because it weighs you down. That's what I meant. Forget about it.
We got some other good fights on this card. Jason Veliz is going up against Ronnie Rios, and I said to you about a half hour ago that this might steal the show aside from the main event. These are two fighters in the featherweight division that are really both of them are at the top of their game. Ronnie Rios is going into this fight with a 24 win, 10 knockout and only 1 loss record.
Wow.
And he's facing Jason Veliz, who's undefeated at 23-0 with a draw. This is going to be a fight that I think is going to kick off the pay-per-view. I'm not sure if this one or Rigondeaux is going to kick it off. But this one's a really good matchup. And one thing I like about this card is that we're getting treated to all 4 fights that are on the pay-per-view are all quality fights.
All quality fights. I'm so excited about all these fights. And, we've talked about even the Mayora fight, and it's going to be great against Vargas. That's going to be a terrific fight. I think is that a semi-windup? Is that the co-feature?
Yeah, that's a co-main. We'll get to that one. I know
you're
all ready about that one. But a fight that was just added to this card. And it actually, ironically enough, it bumped the Randy Caballero fight was supposed to be taking place on before the pay-per-view. It was going to be on the digital broadcast, but now that fight's canceled altogether. But Guillermo Rigondeaux, who has just been stripped of his titles, he had the WBO and the WBA titles, both sanctioning bodies stripped him of his titles because of inactivity, which I thought was kind of bogus because both of them, it was less than his last fight was actually less than a year ago. And really, I don't think they should have done it. But nonetheless, Rigondeaux is going to be going up against Drian Francisco in what I'm thinking be the least competitive fight of the night.
Yeah.
What do you think, Sal?
Well, I'll tell you what. Even though it's going to be less competitive, these guys are going to go out there and they're going to fight to win.
Well, you were looking and telling me before that Rigondeaux had such an astonishing amateur career.
475 amateur fights.
That's a lot of fights.
I mean, you might as well be fighting every day like a sparring session. I mean, this is unbelievable.
Well, the thing about him, and you had asked me, you said, he's only got 15 fights. Well, the thing is there are some exceptions in boxing today where these guys have had such, lengthy amateur careers because they come from, like Guillermo Rigondeaux comes from Cuba. They didn't have any pro
That's
fight.
Right.
So his amateur ranks and the international competition that he's faced is generally higher level opponents than some fighter being brought up, the normal routine.
Same way the old Soviet Union used to have their fighters.
Exactly.
Had hundreds and hundreds of fights, but there was no pro. Because that's all they did, is that they evolved and constantly got experience, but they were professional amateurs right there.
His opponent, Drian Francisco, is actually a guy that used to fight in a much smaller weight class. He was a former WBA super flyweight champion, and he's fighting this fight at featherweight. He's an experienced fighter. He's got an impressive record at 28 wins with 3 losses and a draw. But make no mistake, Sal, he's being brought in to showcase Guillermo Rigondeaux.
Yeah, I believe that.
And I think that that's exactly what's going to take place. That Rigondeaux is going to be a show to watch for him. He's the type of fighter that is a defensive fighter. But yet he's always in a position to inflict damage on his opponent. When he avoids, a punch from his opponent, he's right there to deliver
a smart counterpuncher.
Yeah, he doesn't like run across the other side of the ring.
No.
And then we're going to take a break here in a second. But when we come back, we're going to talk about the fight that you liked the most, Takashi Miura going up against Francisco Vargas in a fight that. Will be pretty competitive as well. And before we take a break, I want to remind everybody about Kenny Bears. Barbecue rub. It makes everything taste better. And as a matter of fact, I thought you were going to create some kind of a dish with this stuff.
We're going to do it next time you're here.
Next time we're here. I'm gaining weight. Every time I come down here, I gain 20 pounds.
It's a good old Italiano, huh?
I know. Well, that's why I come here for the pizza. Hey, listen, we're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about my book, Molineaux, From Bondage to Baddest Man on the Planet, and then we're going to open up the phone lines to get your thoughts. We'll be back in 2.
Hi, I'm Kenny Bear, and I use Kenny Bear's Old Florida Barbecue Rub and Seasoning on my barbecue. And I'm Pixie Bear, and I use pixie dust on my barbecue. With my barbecue rub and seasoning, you get sweet heat and big, bold flavor. With pixie dust, you get no heat, no flavor, and I get third-degree burns. With Kenny Bears, you can conveniently order online, view recipes, and stay up to date on everything that's southern and gourmet. With pixie dust, you just wave your magic wand around and pixie dust falls out of the sky. Don't be a Tinker Bear. Order yours today.
Kenny Bear's Old Florida Barbecue Rub and Seasoning. Grab a bottle today. Want to bring the big show to your event? The Talk of Boxing with Billy C. Show will bring the biggest daily boxing show on the planet to your event and take your show from just an event to a big event.
Coming at you from Fort Lauderdale, we're at the inaugural Women's International Boxing Hall of Fame. And joining me right now, I don't want her to beat me up, but one of the most well-known fighters, retired undefeated, Lucia Riker.
With worldwide television distribution, a first-class professional TV set, and a totally HD state-of-the-art production, Billy C gives huge promotion to your weigh-ins, press conferences, and even promotional events. The big man from the Big Apple knows the fight game, and his professional interviews are the best in the business.
It's now time for Talkin' Boxing with Billy C.
And we're coming to you live from the Billy C studio in Lake George, New York. I'm Bill Calogero, and it's time for Talking Boxing with Billy C. Good morning, good day, good evening. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Linda from Southampton.
Hey, Linda from Southampton. What's on your mind?
VelDL TV and Billy C Boxing give your event the big spotlight with thousands of viewers worldwide.
The best boxing commentators out there, Al Bernstein. Al, glad you could join us, my man.
Thank you very much.
What's happening?
Well, we're having a great weekend. Just had a beautiful lunch here at Graziano's. My second straight beautiful lunch here at Graziano's.
Email us today and ask us how, or go to BillyCBoxing.com and click on the Billy C Now banner. Billy C Boxing, the right choice to make your event into the big event.
And we're back. We're coming to you live from Sal's Neighborhood Pizzeria in beautiful St. Simons Island, Georgia. And we're doing the Billy C. Cotto Canelo pre-fight show. Now, don't forget, tune in right here on LDLTV.com and YouTube.com/talkingboxing for our post-fight show. As soon as the Canelo Cotto fight is over, approximately 5 minutes after the official announcement is made, we're going to be right here with our thoughts, and we're going to open up the phone lines so all you guys can give us your thoughts. But right now, I'm joined with the guy that's usually behind the scenes for all of our LDL TV productions, the man, the myth himself, and he's probably telling Sal right now that I'm going to mess up his last name, but John Muskiunas is here, and he wants to talk about this new book that's out that I've been promoting. That's my book. So
awesome book,
he's been telling me for the last month that he's got all these questions for me, so we figured that we would add a few minutes so you can ask me what you want about my book.
Tom Molineaux, man. This is a book written by Billy C. I don't know how much research you did on this book, but just if you want to get a copy of it, you can get it on BarnesandNoble.com.
Well, anybody that's here, I happen to have some in my trunk.
Got some in the trunk.
Yeah, you can get Barnes & Noble, Amazon.com. You can also get some signed copies. You can get some signed copies by going to our website, BillyCBoxing.com, and going into the book club section, and we'll send you a signed copy, of that too.
But anyways, so listen, it's a very thin read. It's very, very easy, quickly read. I took like about 5 nights because I wanted to read each chapter of this book, but I had no idea who this gentleman was, Tom Molineaux.
It's a great story, right?
And he's not a household name. Boxing guys don't even know really who he is. But this is a terrific book. It's a short read, and it's very detailed about his very short career. But I got to ask you this, Billy. Okay, tell me first, where did you do the research to find out all these details?
The book took me 7 years worth of research. And what started me on it was Pierce Egan was a writer who's actually regarded as the first sports reporter. This was a guy that was alive in the mid to late 1700s and he lived to early 1800s. But he put out a 3-book series called Boxania, 1, 2, and 3. And in that book, he chronicled the history of boxing in England. And I had gotten my hands on a copy of Boxania 1, and I was flipping through it, and I came across the fight between Molineaux and Tom Cribb. And I'm reading it, and they're describing the fight. Now, Tom Molineaux was born a slave in Virginia. And they describe him as the black, the Moor. His skin was as dark as coal. And that's pretty much the definitions that they were given. And now Tom Molineaux was the English champion. He was lily white and this and that. And they said his skin was as white as milk.
You mean Tom Cribb?
Tom Cribb, I'm sorry. And when I'm telling you that because I'm reading all of the descriptors. And I start reading about Pierce Egan's report. And he writes... by the 13th round, these guys were so disfigured and covered in blood, you couldn't tell the two guys apart. Wow. Well, from that point on, I was like, I got to learn more. And I found, I researched, I got the newspapers and stuff. I got to be honest, I got to give a lot of credit to prizefightingbooks.com and Clay Moyle, who's an author. He actually provided me with a lot of the actual newspapers from the 1800s, from England, that I was able to get my data from.
Now, this is here. There's a couple of impressions I have of this book. One is it was an education for me. I didn't realize. So he's on the plantation in Virginia, and the plantation owner says, "Hey, fight this fight, and I'll give you your freedom," which was probably a pretty big deal. He was, well,
it's a little different than that. It's kind of like that, but the owner of the plantation, his son, was like a party guy.
Yeah.
And he was out drinking and having some fun with other plantation owners' sons.
Right. And
they had a little too much to drink, and he gambled the whole plantation on a fight of a fighter he didn't have. So when he woke up the next morning, he's like, what the hell was I doing? And it turned out that he better find a fighter. And Tom Molineaux was actually his companion that used to go around with him, do whatever he was supposed to. So he was the biggest and strongest of his slaves on that plantation. So he decided that he was going to be the guy who fought for him. And Tom Molineaux was a docile guy. He was like, nah, I don't want to fight. And, wow. He was made an offer he couldn't refuse.
And he won.
And he ended up winning.
And the amazing part was, so this is in the early 1800s. So I don't know. I just have this probably a contorted view of America and slavery.
33 years old, the United
33.
States. They didn't even have all their rules and regulations
so
in place.
this cat just picks up and takes off to New York City. Like, how do you do that in 1810?
Well, first of all, he was promised originally $100, and because there was so much money on the line, that Algernon Molineaux, who was the plantation owner's son, actually gave him $500.
Which was probably a lot of money, right?
It was probably like $25,000 at least by today's standard, maybe even more.
A lot more.
And he exited stage left with nothing but that money and the clothes on his back, and he headed east. And
so he's in New York. He fights, and here's the truly amazing thing. He's really the first American heavyweight champion.
That's correct.
Because everybody has John L. Sullivan. They have the linear championship starts with John L. Sullivan, or at least that's the perception that it was. It really wasn't. This is the guy, man.
Well, John L. Sullivan starts the gloved era.
Right, but listen, they didn't have it. If they'd had gloves, then it would have been the Marquis of Queensberry rules and all that stuff. But this is your guy. And not only that, here's the impression when I finished the book. Okay, so it's 1810. He's a freed slave. He lives in New York. But this guy ends up living the life of Mike Tyson, or any of these fighters that end, their demise ends up being their partying or their lifestyle. But that's what this guy was.
Same story 200 years ago.
200 years ago, nothing changed.
That's the truth.
Here's the deal: the guy he's everything Tyson was 200 years ago. He's a star. He's got women of all colors,
mostly
ages,
white,
creeds, mostly white women.
Yeah.
He's got money. He's got guys who support him. He's got, he gets on a ship and decides he's going to go to England. Like, how did that? We don't. Now, in there, you weren't even clear on how he got on the ship. You think he might have been a stowaway.
Now, what I did with my book, and I got to go back because when I started working on this book, the way the layout was different how it ended up being. I was going to, because there was so many gaps in what I could substantiate and back up, I was going to interpret what I felt happened. But in between that, I was asked to reduce this to a short version, and it appeared in Colleen Aycock and Mark Scott's Uncrowned Champions book that was released by McFarlane a few years ago. And after I reduced it to an essay, I said, you know what, this is a better model for me. And I went and then wrote the book different, and everything in there is backed up with fact. So truly, to this day, if he was a stowaway on this ship, how could a guy his size? The ships weren't as big as people think they were, right? And I actually found a photo of the ship that's in the book, but he wouldn't have gone unnoticed for that month-long voyage. Right. And he wouldn't have been able to. The food is calculated, how much food you have for the amount of people on the ship. He wouldn't have been able to do it. So somehow he got on the ship. There's some different opinions about that. Like the guy who
seemed to be a guy that was able to get things done.
Well, when he was fighting in New York, he pissed away all his money at this point, and he wanted to make more money. So. It was a port, so there were sailors coming in, and they said, hey, man, you're in the wrong place. You need to go fight in England.
Right.
So that's how he got over to England.
And it was super attractive. It was worth getting on this ship, and however long it took, a couple months to get the ship?
At least a month. When he landed in 1809, the first thing he did when he got onto the shores, when he ended up in London, and he says, where's this Tom Cribb? I want to fight him. Like, who's this guy? Who's this black guy coming over here? And next thing you know, all the women were all over him because he was muscular and he was.
2 seconds though. It was like
he was walking down Main Street of London with women on each arm, and they were following him behind him too.
And so he fights this magnificent, incredible 60-something round fight when he finally gets the fight. 60 rounds.
Well, it wasn't. That one wasn't 60.
What was the first fight? Was how many rounds?
23.
Oh, 23.
But let's also
actually
preface
26.
And let our
should have been ended in 23.
Let our audience know, back in those days, a round ended when you knocked down an opponent. Correct?
Right. Yeah. So one round could have been 40 minutes. It could have also been 5
Absolutely.
seconds.
And the fight would finish if the guy didn't recover. And how long was it?
30 seconds.
30 seconds. So you have 30 seconds to recover. And if you don't, you lose the fight by KO.
But that's the whole thing. If you read the book, he got robbed not once, not twice, but three times in that fight.
Right. So, but the amazing part is if it went 23 or 28 rounds, there was 28 knockdowns. 28 knockdowns.
Between the two of them.
Right.
Between the two of them.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, well, sometimes they would slip or fall, but just the whole scene sounded crazy. The crowd got out of control at one point.
Like a barge
They rushed
brawl.
into the ring.
They broke his fingers. The crowd rushed the ring because he had time. Now, remember, there was only 3 rules. You had you had 30 seconds to come to scratch, was what they called it. A knockdown was, like Sal said, was once a guy, hit the ground, that was the end of the round. But you couldn't gouge out their eyes, and you couldn't hit a man while he was down. That's it.
Sounds like modern day MMA almost to
except
me.
you are allowed to hit him when he's down.
Yeah, well,
right.
in MMA, but you can't kick him when he's down.
So what Molineaux did was he had Tom Cribb in a headlock.
You're right.
And he's pounding him. Now, the way Tom Cribb was positioned is that he could not fall.
Right.
He was being beaten to death is what was happening.
Probably.
So the fans saw this, and they rushed the fight, the ring. And because, if he would have let go of him, the fight probably would have been over. So the fans all rushed. 200 people rushed this ring. And they literally pried his fingers off because he had them locked so he couldn't get away. And they pried his fingers, and they broke his finger.
Unbelievable.
And then they let the fight continue. They gave him more time. They gave him more than 30 seconds. All of this stuff. So it was pretty amazing. Pretty amazing.
Well, this is an awesome book. You can get it at Barnes & Noble. Billy C's got copies here. I highly recommend it. I got 2 other books that were in front of this, the Mike Tyson book and the Artie Lang book, and I had to read this. And once I got into it, it was really amazing to read the detail that Billy put into this book about the fight. When you read the chapters about the fight, you get out of breath, and it's a fantastic read. Billy C Boxing's got a link on there.
Yeah, we have a link in the book club, but something that's really important is something that John was saying. Boxing and the way things were 200 years ago haven't changed much.
No, it hasn't changed
because,
much.
he was manipulated and cheated and all of that stuff 200 years ago.
Yeah.
Right. And it's amazing stuff.
Yeah, well, we got to take a break.
Could your fans get an autographed copy from you?
Oh, all they got to do is go order one up on the book club section on BillyCBoxing.com, and they get an autograph. Hey, listen, we're going to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to open up the phone lines and get your thoughts on the fight. I know we got Dax Khan scheduled to call in here in a little bit, so we're going to take a break, and we'll be back in 2 minutes.
2 minutes.
All right.
We'll be back.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Hi, I'm Kenny Bear, and I use Kenny Bear's Old Florida Barbecue Rub and Seasoning on my barbecue. And I'm Pixie Bear, and I use pixie dust on my barbecue. With my barbecue rub and seasoning, you get sweet heat and big, bold flavor. With pixie dust, you get no heat, no flavor, and I get third-degree burns. With Kenny Bears, you can conveniently order online, view recipes, and stay up to date on everything that's Southern and gourmet. With pixie dust, you just wave your magic wand around and pixie dust falls out of the sky. Don't be a Tinker Bear. Order yours today.
Kenny Bear's Old Florida Barbecue Rub and Seasoning. Grab a bottle today.
Hi, Billy C here. I want to talk to you about Sal's Neighborhood Pizzeria and Ristorante Italiano. Sal's Neighborhood Pizzeria and Ristorante Italiano serves the freshest and finest homemade Italian cuisine with Sal's family recipes from the old country. Sal's incredibly delicious brick oven pizza is the best pizza I've ever had. And I'm from New York. Come join us today on St. Simon's Island in the beautiful Golden Isles of Georgia. We're located at exit 29 off of I-95. Sal's is open for lunch and dinner Monday through Saturday, with private parties available on Sundays. For more information, call 912-268-2328 or go to salsneighborhoodpizzeria.com. Sal's Neighborhood Pizzeria and Ristorante Italiano, where new faces become old friends, and our family tradition is to serve you the very best.
Tell me, Kenny, how is it you rub my belly so fine with that secret rub of yours? And don't even tell me what you're gonna do next. I love you, Kenny Bear. Tell me, Kenny baby, what you gonna do next?
Kenny Bear's Old Florida Barbecue Rub and Seasoning. Grab a bottle today.
And we're back. We're coming at you live from Sal's Neighborhood Pizzeria in St. Simons Island, Georgia. I'm joined with Sal Rocky Senecola, and we're doing our Cotto Canelo pre-fight show. Now, don't forget, approximately 5 minutes after Cotto Canelo, you can tune in right here for our post-fight show, and we're going to open up the phone lines to get all of your thoughts on the fight. But right now, before we went to break, and then before my man John gave us some time to talk about my book, we didn't get a chance to talk about the co-main event tonight, Sal, and that's Francisco Vargas going up against Takashi Miura. And Miura is the champion. He's a WBC World Super Featherweight champ, and he's putting his title on the line against Francisco Vargas, who's 30 years old. But this is actually his first world title shot. Right. I know you've done some research on these. What do you think about this fight?
I think it's going to be a great fight. These warriors are just that. They come to fight. They're going to be punching. They like to stay in the pocket. They like to fire their guns. I think they're going to come at each other, and it's going to be a good fight. Very good fight. I see that we have Miura. He's got 185 professional rounds under his belt versus the 92 rounds that Vargas has under his belt. However, that's not misleading in any way, shape, or form, because Vargas had a lot of good quality, long, extensive amateur fights. And I think what he also does bring to the table is that he has also fought a lot of top opponents on his way up. So both of them did. Quality opponents.
Yeah, you know, they're similar in age. Actually, Vargas has got a 1.5-inch height advantage going into this fight against Miura. You know, just to give you a little heads up, you know, I like to go, we have our own ratings on Billy C Boxing, Billy C Ratings. We're non-biased. We don't really have a champion. We rate the top 10 best fighters by division. Has Miura rated at number 2, so we're pretty accurate. Very him at number 4, and we got him ranked at number 7. So when you look at the computer rankings, which is on how these fighters pan out with based on their opposition and their opposition's opposition, et cetera,
right?
It's going to be a pretty even fight. I mean, on paper it's even, statistically it's even. You did make a great point in terms of rounds. Because Takashi Miura has almost 100 pro rounds more than Francisco Vargas. But hey, you know, you got a southpaw against orthodox. I mean, in your experience, is an orthodox fighter going to have that much trouble, especially in today's boxing world, with a southpaw?
You know, you often make comments about the quality of trainers today versus the era that I was involved with boxing, and you know, they just taught their fighters how to fight any different opponent, any different style. And, you know, we saw what happened last week with the Holly Holmes and Ronda Rousey fight with her facing the southpaw and Holmes. She looked like it was her first amateur fight. However, on this level, I am sure, you know, you have Miura as the southpaw and you have Vargas, the experienced fighter. They're going to face each other, and I don't think it's going to be much of an issue. I'm sure Vargas is going to try and stay outside of that foot, the lead foot of Miura, and he'll be able to stay away from that straight left, and hopefully it'll be a good fight. But like I said, these guys are going to try and probably get in the pocket and fire their guns. I think there's going to be a very good fight. There's going to be very good exchanges between them, and I think that you know, it's going to be a battle of attrition and see who's going to have the better chin and the better stamina in the end.
When I look at these two guys, I see Francisco Vargas really having, I mean, I'm not going to pull any punches. He had a pretty easy career up until his 18th fight. I mean, they didn't even step up his level of opposition until his 18th fight. When you look at Takashi Miura, He's already had 5 successful title defenses, including when he won the title.
Right.
So this is actually his 6th world title defense against, world title caliber fighters.
Yeah.
So I think the experience, at least with the level of opposition, has to go to Takashi Miura. However, the 4 big fights that I made notes on for Francisco Vargas was actually his last fight was one of them against Will Tomlinson. He stopped Tomlinson in the 8th round, which was a pretty big win for him.
Right.
Tomlinson is a good fighter. At the time was 23 wins, 1 loss, and 1 draw. And he also beat Juanma. Everybody forgets about Juanma Lopez, who was the guy at the top of the division for a while till people realized that he kind of had a suspect chin, and he knocked out Juanma in the 3rd round. He also beat Abner Cotto and Jerry Belmontes.
Wow.
Now, Belmontes is a guy that doesn't have a very impressive record today, but he's a tough kid out of Texas. So Francisco Vargas has fought some good opposition, but when you look at the overall records, I think Takashi Miura might have an edge against. I 67% knockout ratio. However, Francisco Vargas, and because he's only got 23 fights, his knockout ratio is actually a little better at 70%. But I think overall, I'm going to go with the experience, and I'm going to pick Takashi Miura in this fight.
I think that's a safe bet. I'm going to do the same, Billy. That's what I feel. We'll see what happens.
Well, we want to give a shout out to the King and Prince, a beautiful resort that I'm staying at here while I'm down in St. Simons. So if you're coming down to this area, make sure you check out the King and Prince. Tell them Sal Senecola sent you, and you get a special rate. www.kingandprince.com or 800-34202. And while you're at it, everybody watches what they eat. Maybe not when they come to Sal's because there's so much good food, but everybody watches what they eat and they take care of themselves. But are you taking care of your brains? That's a trick question, right? Well, check out brainhealthforever.com, the only Dr. Oz puts it. Find out why it's the only patented brain supplement on the market today. www.brainhealthforever. Forever. Hey, and speaking of forever, Sal Senecola has been on our show, and as if you know, or if you just stumbled across this show, we do a daily 2-hour boxing talk show a day. It's on radio, TV, internet, podcasts, etc. And Sal has a segment on that show. You've been having some fun doing that, or what?
I've been having a lot of fun, and I want to thank you for giving me this opportunity, and also.
Oh no, thank you,
thank
Sal.
you,
thank
and
you,
also,
Sal.
hey, yo, whoa. And also, I want to thank your fans. Because, man, they're great in the chat room and everything else. Thank you for receiving me and welcoming me. Well, and I appreciate it. I have fun with it. I love it.
Well, it's good, and we do have some fun with that.
We
and
do.
At least you're always on time.
I am.
At least you show up when you say you're gonna.
I do.
So
you're surprised.
Isn't there an empty chair there? Was somebody supposed to show up here?
Oh, yes. Hint. You are so right.
Right.
Are we going to mention any names?
No, we won't mention any names. But
we have an
anyway, one last thing. We're going to open up the phone lines here in a second. We got my man Dax Khan is scheduled to call us.
All right.
Here, and we'll get his thoughts on the big fights for this weekend. As soon as for tonight, as soon as he calls in, and then after Dax, we'll open up the phone lines and we'll have your thoughts on the fights as they unfold. And we'll talk about the main event one more time right now. Miguel Cotto going up against Saul Canelo Alvarez.
Boy, oh boy.
I love this fight. My official prediction, I told you, but my official prediction is I think that Saul Canelo Alvarez. And I'm a big fan of Miguel Cotto.
Yes, you are.
But I'm picking Canelo in this fight. I think Canelo Alvarez is going to beat up Cotto tonight. And I think that it's going to be a late round stoppage. I think Cotto's going to retire tonight. As much as I hate to say it because I'm such a big fan, I just think he's looking ahead. I don't see him winning this fight. I really don't.
I was leaning a little bit towards, after I looked at both fighters, their styles, picturing them, what they're going to do with each other, and how the confrontation, how they're going to ebb and flow the fight through the rounds. But ultimately, I I'm going to say that I think Canelo Alvarez is just too young, too strong, and too durable at this point of his career that he's not going to become the victor in this fight.
Now, what happens if Canelo, earlier in this show, we were talking about, some points that I think that Canelo had to improve in order to win this fight, his ring generalship, his ability to be able to deliver and land punches while he's on the move rather than locking and loading. If he can't do that, does Miguel Cotto win this fight?
Miguel Cotto has a good advantage on the fact that he punches from different angles. He'll give you different fighter. He'll give you a different scene to see. He's all over the place, and he can fight from different angles. Here he's punching. He's a machine, and he's very good at that. And I know that you see Canelo Alvarez. He's very well in balance and with his feet underneath him, and he stands up with his hands high, which is perfect. He's like a trainer's storybook model fighter. Just hands up, very stoic, he's very calm. And I think if he doesn't do that sidestep and punch while he's going on the side, he's going to have some trouble. So we're going to see what he learned from Mayweather. We're going to see how he's evolving now. We're going to see how the trainers are working with him. I'll also give you one other variable that Cotto has in his gas tank tonight. He's got the very famous Freddie Roach as his trainer. And it means a lot to a fighter if he's got confidence in his trainer and in his corner.
Well, I think that he's got too much confidence in Freddie Roach. And I think that might almost be, sort of like when we say
false sense of panic.
Right, we say, he's believing his own press clippings and stuff like that. Maybe Miguel Cotto is starting to believe that, he's still 25 years old, and I don't know. He's looked really good in his last couple of fights.
He has.
But look at the three opponents. His last three fights, Austin Trout, he won. He lost against Austin Trout, back-to-back losses, Floyd Mayweather, Austin Trout. But then he fights Sergio Martinez.
Yes.
After the Delvin Rodriguez fight. The Delvin Rodriguez fight was a joke. He fights Sergio Martinez, who we found out had one leg. And then he fights Daniel Geale, who was in some serious trouble as well.
Right.
And, he wins those two fights. And now he's fighting Canelo Alvarez. I think we're going to see really where Cotto's at. And I personally think that he's going to age before our eyes tonight, and I don't think it's going to end well for Miguel Cotto.
Well, you call it, and Billy, you're pretty much right on more times than not. So we're going to see. I'm gonna have to say that Canelo Alvarez, I'm a big fan of, and I like the way he does approach a fight. He's all business, and I think that's going to make a big difference.
Well, we're going to open up the phone lines right now, 845-228-8710. We want to hear from you guys, and don't forget, we're going to be doing the post-fight show approximately 5 minutes after the official announcement is made. So as soon as the official time is made, we can go live right here. So we want you to join us. And speaking of joining us, is my main man. Now you can check out his column up on BillyCBoxing.com. He's a regular on our show, and he's responsible for doing all of our social media stuff. Dax Khan is on the line right now. Dax, can you hear me?
No, you sound a little faded, a little far away.
Well, you sound great to us, man. What's your thoughts on first the Miguel Cotto Saul Canelo Alvarez fight?
Well, Canelo, especially after looking at the weigh-in the other day. I think we spoke before. Looking at the weigh-in yesterday, Canelo looked very strong. Cotto looked a little bit small. He's small in terms of the middleweight, of course, and even for by today's standards, most junior middleweight. Are losing a lot of their tone. He's not as fine as he used to be, and that comes with age. The last time Cotto Bill, Sal, John, last time he's ever been in with a prime, dangerous opponent, or should I say an opponent who was in his prime and not injured, was Joshua Crotty back in 2009.
It's a long time.
I remember going Floyd Mayweather. I think Floyd Mayweather kind of allowed Miguel Cotto to look better than what Miguel Cotto was capable of. Floyd was laughing and smiling at the bloody nose. The Austin Trout fight. I remember going to the media conferences and standing and talking face to face with Austin and Cotto, and how small Cotto looked. And Trout dominated him, and he did something that night, which I think is a very key part, is he got into Cotto's head. Once Cotto realized he couldn't hurt him, Cotto went into that bad place, and that bad place is somewhere that Antonio Margarito put him in. He got a little better, and then Manny Pacquiao put him in a place I don't think his mind has ever recovered from. He has to come out strong, and he has to dominate early on, and if he doesn't dominate early on, he's going to doubt himself. Canelo Alvarez, they've been doing a lot of good stuff with him, and me and Bill have been talking about this for the last few months. They've added in combination punching with him. Canelo was never, a 4, 5, and 6 combination guy, and that's what they're doing with him now, and he looks faster than he's ever looked before. Canelo was never really a guy you'd say, wow, look at the speed on him, and, he's just as fast as Cotto. He might even be a little bit faster, and he doesn't have the wear and tear on him, and he's hungry, and the one most important that I think when it comes to the mental game, Sal, the game is won inside the mind. The mind will win that fight for you more than the body will. And Cotto, he gets into that bad spot. He's going to doubt himself. Canelo has this mindset. He wants to be great. He wants to be just like his mentor, Oscar De La Hoya. Win, lose, or draw, gives it his all. And Miguel Cotto at this stage is not the guy put Canelo Alvarez in where he's going to doubt himself. He's not the type of guy at this stage in his career that's going to baffle him like Floyd Mayweather did, because some of Floyd Mayweather is Floyd Mayweather, Miguel Cotto's Miguel Cotto, and Floyd Mayweather would never have worn out Floyd Mayweather, and Miguel Cotto is worn out now, and Canelo Alvarez is just getting better, and this is going to turn out a bad way. And like Bill said, I don't think we're ever going to see Miguel Cotto in the ring again if he loses tonight.
Hey, Dax, let me ask you a question. Sal and I were just talking about Freddie Roach and the confidence that he's instilled with Miguel Cotto. Do you think it's going to be counterproductive for him? Do you think that he's going to think that, he's better off than he is? I mean, let's be real. He's 35 years old, and like you said, he's got a lot of mileage on him. Do you think that Freddie Roach is talking smack and downplaying Canelo's talent level and all of that? You think that's going to play any kind of a part in tonight's fight? Are you there, Dax?
Did we lose Dax?
Did we lose Dax? Well, I can't. I guess we lost him. Are you there, Dax?
Yeah.
Oh, did you hear what I said?
Well, Freddie Roach is going to be great for, Miguel Cotto's confidence. They brought in the strength.
You got to do it my way. All right. Well, let's take a break, Dax. We're going to take a break. We'll be back in 2. Dax, I can't.
They're in that ring together. Freddie Roach can't fight, and once Miguel Cotto starts doubting himself, what's going to happen?
Yeah, that's.
I really don't. There's. This at this point in time, the only thing that might keep Miguel Cotto at his peak, the only thing that might make Miguel Cotto say, I refuse to go out unless it's flat on my back with my eyes closed, is strictly for the fact that the WBC stripped me of my title, and I'm going to let them know nobody tells Miguel Cotto how to end his career. That's the only way I can see it. This is going to be the night that Canelo Alvarez becomes a superstar. He already is one, but he's going to cement his legacy, and he's going to the Puerto Rico versus Mexico rivalry is really big. Canelo Alvarez feeds off of that. He's going to have the crowd is going to be in his favor, and as a 25-year-old kid, his head is going to be so big. He's going to go in there like a Superman tonight.
Dax, great point.
Great point.
And we'll be looking forward to talking to you. We'll be looking forward to talking to you after the show, after the event tonight. All right. Give me a call on my cell phone in about 15 minutes, okay?
Great comments, Dax.
All right. We're going to take a break. We'll be back in 2.
Bye-bye.
Hi, I'm Kenny Bear, and I use Kenny Bear's Old Florida Barbecue Rub and Seasoning on my barbecue. And I'm Pixie Bear, and I use pixie dust on my barbecue. With my barbecue rub and seasoning, you get sweet heat and big, bold flavor. With pixie dust, you get no heat, no flavor, and I get third-degree burns. With Kenny Bears, you can conveniently order online, view recipes, and stay up to date on everything that's southern and gourmet. With pixie dust, you just wave your magic wand around and pixie dust falls out of the sky. Don't be a Tinker Bear. Order yours today.
Kenny Bear's Old Florida Barbecue Rub and Seasoning. Grab a bottle today.
Want to bring the big show to your event? The Talkin' Boxing with Billy C show will bring the biggest daily boxing show on the planet to your event and take your show from just an event to a big event.
Coming at you from Fort Lauderdale, we're at the inaugural Women's International Boxing Hall of Fame. And joining me right now, I don't want her to beat me up, but one of the most well-known fighters, retired undefeated, Lucia Riker.
With worldwide television distribution, a first-class professional TV set, and a totally HD state-of-the-art production, Billy C gives huge promotion to your weigh-ins, press conferences, and even promotional events. The big man from the Big Apple knows the fight game, and his professional interviews are the best in the business.
It's now time for Talkin' Boxing with Billy C.
And we're coming to you live from the Billy C studio in Lake George, New York. I'm Bill Calagione, and it's time for Talking Boxing on Billy C. Good morning, good day, good evening. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Linda from Southampton.
Hey, Linda from Southampton. What's on your mind?
LDL TV and Billy C Boxing give your event the big spotlight with thousands of viewers worldwide.
The best boxing commentators out there, Al Bernstein. Al, glad you could join us, my man.
Nice. Thank you very much.
What's happening?
Well, we're having a great weekend. Just had a beautiful lunch here at Graziano's. My second straight beautiful lunch here at Graziano's.
Email us today and ask us how, or go to BillyCBoxing.com and click on the Billy C Now banner. Billy C Boxing, the right choice to make your event into the big event.
Hi, Billy C here. I want to talk to you about Sal's Neighborhood Pizzeria and Ristorante Italiano. Sal's Neighborhood Pizzeria and Ristorante Italiano serves the freshest and finest homemade Italian cuisine with Sal's family recipes from the old country. Sal's incredibly delicious brick oven pizza is the best pizza I've ever had. And I'm from New York. Come join us today on St. Simon's Island in the beautiful Golden Isles of Georgia. We're located at exit 29 off of I-95. Sal's is open for lunch and dinner Monday through Saturday, with private parties available on Sundays. For more information, call 912-268-2328 or go to salsneighborhoodpizzeria.com. Sal's Neighborhood Pizzeria and Ristorante Italiano, where new faces become old friends, and our family tradition is to serve you the very best.
Tell me, Kenny, how is it you rub my belly so fine with that secret rub of yours? And don't even tell me what you're gonna do next. I love you, Kenny Bear. Tell me, Kenny baby, what you gonna do next?
Kenny Bear's Old Florida Barbecue Rub and Seasoning. Grab a bottle today.
LDL TV streaming live to you the best in amateur USA and Golden Gloves events, professional boxing, live mixed martial arts, major concerts, music, comedy, special red carpet events, professional pool, beach volleyball, car racing, boat racing, live corporate events, and much, much more. All live to you in crystal clear, smooth streaming video. LDL TV, live down the line, the best every time.
Hi, I'm Kenny Bear, and I use Kenny Bear's Old Florida Barbecue Rub and Seasoning on my barbecue. And I'm Pixie Bear, and I use pixie dust on my barbecue. With my barbecue rub and seasoning, you get sweet heat and big, bold flavor. With pixie dust, you get no heat, no flavor, and I get third-degree burns. With Kenny Bears, you can conveniently order online, view recipes, and stay up to date on everything that's southern and gourmet. With pixie dust, you just wave your magic wand around and pixie dust falls out of the sky. Don't be a Tinker Bear. Order yours today.
Kenny Bear's Old Florida Barbecue Rub and Seasoning. Grab a bottle today.
Want to bring the big show to your event? The Talk of Boxing with Billy C. show will bring the biggest daily boxing show on the planet to your event and take your show from just an event to a big event.
Coming at you from Fort Lauderdale, we're at the inaugural Women's International Boxing Hall of Fame. And joining me right now, I don't want her to beat me up, but one of the most well-known fighters, retired undefeated, Lucia Riker.
With worldwide television distribution, a first-class professional TV set, and a totally HD state-of-the-art production, Billy C. gives huge promotion to your weigh-ins, press conferences, and even promotional events. The big man from the Big Apple knows the fight game, and his professional interviews are the best in the business.
It's now time for Talkin' Boxing with Billy C.
And we're coming to you live from the Billy C. studio in Lake George, New York. I'm Bill Caligione, and it's time for Talking Boxing on Billy C. Good morning, good day, good evening. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Linda from Southampton.
Hey, Linda from Southampton. What's on your mind?
LDL TV and Billy C. Boxing give your event the big spotlight with thousands of viewers worldwide.
The best boxing commentators out there, Al Bernstein. Al, glad you could join us, my man.
Thank you very much.
What's happening?
Well, we're having a great weekend. Just had a beautiful lunch here at Graziano's. My second straight beautiful lunch here at Graziano's.
Email us today and ask us how, or go to BillyCBoxing.com and click on the Billy C. Now banner. Billy C. Boxing, the right choice to make your event into the big event.
Hi, Billy C. here. I want to talk to you about Sal's Neighborhood Pizzeria and Ristorante Italiano. Sal's Neighborhood Pizzeria and Ristorante Italiano serves the freshest and finest homemade Italian cuisine with Sal's family recipes from the old country. Sal's incredibly delicious brick oven pizza is the best pizza I've ever had. And I'm from New York. Come join us today on St. Simon's Island in the beautiful Golden Isles of Georgia. We're located at exit 29 off of I-95. Sal's is open for lunch and dinner Monday through Saturday, with private parties available on Sundays. For more information, call 912-268-2328 or go to salsneighborhoodpizzeria.com. Sal's Neighborhood Pizzeria and Ristorante Italiano, where new faces become old friends, and our family tradition is to serve you the very best.
Tell me, Kenny, how is it you rub my belly so fine with that secret rub of yours? And don't even tell me what you're gonna do next. I love you, Kenny Bear. Tell me, Kenny baby, what you gonna do next?
Kenny Bear's Old Florida Barbecue Rub and Seasoning. Grab a bottle today.
An evening of world-class professional boxing for your entertainment. Want to remind you, ladies and gentlemen, there is no flash photography tonight. No flash photography, please. Also a reminder, no lighted videotaping, no videotaping of any kind in the arena this evening. Also like to remind the gentlemen, please remove your hats during the presentation of our national anthem. Tonight's bouts are under the auspices of the Florida State Boxing Commission. The chairman is Dr. Mark Williams. The commissioners, Dr. Wayne Kearney, Mr. Antonius DeSisto, Mr. Marco Lopez, and Mr. Tieso Martinez. The executive director is Paul Waters, assistant executive director Frank Gentile. All bouts tonight will be scored under the 10-point must system. For all non-title bouts, the 3 knockdown rule is in effect. For tonight's 2 title bouts, the 3 knockdown rule is waived. Ring officials assigned by the Florida State Boxing Commission, the attending ringside physicians are Dr. Denise Biffin and Dr. Terrace Faulkner. Your judges scoring at ringside are Emo Conforti, Jed O'Connor, Mike Ross, and Florida Boxing Hall of Famer Brian Gary. Counting for the knockdowns will be the alternate referee, and your referees in charge of the action this evening, Emil Lombardi, and former World Cruiserweight Champ and Florida Boxing Hall of Famer James Waring. Also, ladies and gentlemen, one of our judges tonight, Mike Ross from Bradenton, in June will be inducted in the Florida Boxing Hall of Fame. Mike Ross, Bradenton, Florida. Ladies and gentlemen, Friday Night Fights Making History is brought to you by our title sponsor, PerfectEnergySports.com. Our major sponsor this evening, Lori Davis at Just a Basket Chase. Also brought to you by Sarasota Ford, Texas Roadhouse, Budweiser, Bungalow Beach Resort, Faco Air Conditioning. Also special thanks to A Perfect Event SRQ and Skywalker Marketing. Ladies and gentlemen, don't forget to make plans to attend the official after-fight party. It's being presented by Tin Mint and Full Moon Promotions. It'll be held at Don Pablo's, located at 5911 Fruitville Road. You can meet the fighters and enjoy great drink and food specials. That's the official after-fight party, Don Pablo's, located at 5911 Fruitville Road. Gentlemen, please remove your hats as we honor our brave men and women serving us around the world in the United States Armed Forces with the presentation of our national anthem. Here to sing for us this evening, representing Dungeon Boxing Club in Sarasota, please welcome from Sarasota, the lovely and talented Jasmine Aikens Castillo.
Gallantly streaming, and
Kenny Bear, and I use Kenny Bear's Old Florida barbecue rub and seasoning on my barbecue. And I'm Pixie Bear, and I use pixie dust on my barbecue. With my barbecue rub and seasoning, you get sweet heat and big, bold flavor. With pixie dust, you get no heat, no flavor, and I get third-degree burns. With Kenny Bears, you can conveniently order online, view recipes, and stay up to date on everything that's Southern and gourmet. With pixie dust, you just wave your magic wand around and pixie dust falls out of the sky. Don't be a Tinker Bear. Order yours today.
Kenny Bear's Old Florida barbecue rub and seasoning. Grab a bottle today.
Yeah, it looks like we're in for a great night of fights here in Sarasota, Florida, Carl, as we wait for Bob Alexander to give us the go-ahead for the first introductions for this first fight, which is going to be coming at us in the junior welterweight division. Andre Bird going up against Ray Younger out of Atlanta, and it promises to be a pretty decent fight.
Ladies and gentlemen, from Robots Arena in Sarasota, Florida, our first bout of the evening is brought to you by PerfectEnergySports.com and Just a Basket Case. Scheduled for 4 rounds of professional boxing in the welterweight division. Your judges scoring at ringside, Emil Conforti, Ryan Gary, and Mike Ross. Your referee in charge of the action, James Waring. Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner, wearing camouflage trunks. He weighed in at 149 3/4 pounds. A veteran of 4 professional bouts from the ATL, Atlanta, Georgia. Here is Ray Younger. His opponent fighting out of the blue corner, wearing black trunks with a white trim. He weighed in at 148 pounds. His professional record, 2 wins, 2 losses. From Jacksonville, Florida, here is Andre Thunder Bird.
Sorry about that, Carl. I didn't want to get Bob not to say his piece, but this looks like an interesting fight. 2 evenly matched guys. I know Ray Younger is winless at 0-4, but Andre Bird is coming off of a little bit of a layoff, and he's trying to get on the winning side of a 2-2 record as we get ready for this first round to start.
But, you know, guys, maybe Younger's overdue. You never know. I mean, these guys are 2 years apart in age. Be interesting.
Well, as this fight starts, I just want to give a shout out to Perfect Events for being the promoter of this, Sarasota BMW, USANA, and of course a basket case. Now, Sal, in this particular fight, it looks like Younger is doing exactly what he should be doing with his height and reach advantage, and for some reason, Andre Bird looks a little like he's being a little overcautious here.
I agree with you, and you know, Younger definitely is good with his reach and height advantage. He's got to keep that left out there to keep the shorter opponent off him, because the shorter opponent's going to slip those punches and work his way inside and want to get down to the body, hook a little bit here and there, and he's effectively reaching him with that jab, even though he's shorter. So let's see what happens here, and it's going to be an interesting fight.
I like the way he's trying to work the body a little bit too, Carl. You know, I think a lot of young fighters seem to abandon that in today's boxing.
No, there's no question about that. It's a lost art to body work. It's always effective, and especially with young, up-and-coming guys. They need to learn how to work the body, because you kill the body, the head will die. And Younger, look at this. The Younger starting out. He has a height advantage, a reach advantage. It's a wonder what's in the gas tank, I think.
He looks like he's in good shape. He came in a little overweight, but we worked that out behind the scenes. But the one thing I'd like to see a little more from Andre Bird is maybe keeping his hands up, Sal. It looks like his hands are down, and he's kind of inviting Ray Younger to use that reach advantage.
Well, that's the case, and it's so many times these guys, they forget the basics, they forget the fundamentals, and you keep your hands up, you parry those punches, you block them, you slip them, you move them. Those are the fundamentals. That's why I'm talking as eloquently as I am today.
That's cute. I like that.
Anyway, I'm going to tell you this right now. These guys inside, they're jockeying for position. They're trying to get the advantage. They're feeling each other's strength. But the bottom line is these guys got to keep their hands up. And, of course, working these, look at him. He's got him in the corner right now. Let's see if he knows how to cut the ring off of him.
I think that this fight, what I would like to see a little more out of Andre Bird, is more of an inside fight. Younger's doing what he should do: try and keep the distance, use his arm reach, move around a little bit. And at times, Andre Bird is trying to emulate that, but at other times he's doing what I think he should do and try and make this fight closer to take away that arm reach advantage.
Want to bring the big show to your event? The Talk of Boxing with Billy C. show will bring the biggest daily boxing show on the planet to your event and take your show from just an event to a big event.
Coming at you from Fort Lauderdale, we're at the inaugural Women's International Boxing Hall of Fame. And joining me right now, I don't want her to beat me up, but one of the most well-known fighters, retired undefeated, Lucia Riker.
With worldwide television distribution, a first-class professional TV set, and a totally HD state-of-the-art production, Billy C. gives huge promotion to your weigh-ins, press conferences, and even promotional events. The big man from the Big Apple knows the fight game, and his professional interviews are the best in the business.
It's now time for Talkin' Boxing with Billy C.
And we're coming to you live from the Billy C. studio in Lake George, New York. I'm Bill Calogero, and it's time for Talking Boxing with Billy C. Good morning, good day, good evening. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Linda from Southampton.
Hey, Linda from Southampton. What's on your mind?
LDL TV and Billy C. Boxing give your event the big spotlight with thousands of viewers worldwide.
The best boxing commentators out there, Al Bernstein. Al, glad you could join us, my man.
Thank you very much.
What's happening?
Well, we're having a great weekend. Just had a beautiful lunch here at Graziano's. My second straight beautiful lunch here at Graziano's.
Email us today and ask us how, or go to BillyCBoxing.com and click on the Billy C. Now banner. Billy C. Boxing, the right choice to make your event into the big event.
Because it's an even fight. As you can see, he's got some advantages here. With his height and reach, and like I mentioned earlier, Andre Bird is coming off of a bit of a layoff.
Well, we start now with start of the second round. We'll see. I mean, this kid Younger looks like he has some skills and techniques, and it's just hard. If I hadn't known what his record was, I wouldn't think that this guy is winless as a pro.
Nice stiff jab that Andre Bird is starting to find a place for now, and maybe this should answer what you were talking about a little earlier. Why he's 0-4.
Exactly, because Bird is finding a nice home with that jab.
Yeah.
He's slipping his head. I like his head movement, and he's keeping his arms and his hands up with his movement. So it's not like he's going 180 degrees different.
But here's the one thing that he does that has hurt him in the past. Watch how he's fighting, but then as he's delivering punches, he's taking steps backwards. He should be moving forward and forcing Ray Younger to move back. A lot of times judges see this and they see Ray Younger I'm not saying that that's the case tonight, but what a lot of judges do is that they assume that Ray Younger's, or a fighter that's moving forward, is trying to press the action and the other fighter is not. I think that Andre Bird should be moving forward when he's delivering his punches rather than delivering them as he's moving back.
Well, yeah, I agree. He's applying pressure, and I think he needs to do that in order to win the fight. I can't really, at this point, distinguish what Younger's real problem is, whether it's conditioning, lack thereof, or whatever the case may be. But if I was Andre Bird, I would try to go forward, back him up, put no heat on him, and work the body and see how he fares in the round 3 and the round 4 if he goes that long.
Well, right now, Sal, what I'm seeing in Andre Bird is a fighter that seems that he's better conditioned, but he's all of a sudden now fighting with his hands totally down. He hasn't had his hands up, and he's delivering punches as he's moving backwards. And I'm not saying Ray Younger is taking advantage of it because he's certainly not at this point. But this is some these are some things that I'm noticing about Andre right now.
Well, you just see Younger just switch to southpaw very briefly, throwing the right jab. Sign of confusion, in my point of view. I just think the guys that it's just going to be a matter of a round or so before we can really determine what the problem is.
And here's the problem. Andre Bird appears to be trying to incorporate the Floyd Mayweather shoulder roll. And I said on my show a while ago, and I got a lot of criticism, that Floyd Mayweather is actually bad for boxing. And I say that not against Floyd and what Floyd has done, but other young fighters. Like obviously, Andre Bird does not have the talent level.
Hi, I'm Kenny Bear, and I use Kenny Bear's Old Florida Barbecue Rub and Seasoning on my barbecue. And I'm Pixie Bear, and I use pixie dust on my barbecue. With my barbecue rub and seasoning, you get sweet heat and big, bold flavor. With pixie dust, you get no heat, no flavor, and I get third-degree burns. With Kenny Bears, you can conveniently order online, view recipes, and stay up to date on everything that's Southern and gourmet. With pixie dust, you just wave your magic wand around and pixie dust falls out of the sky. Don't be a Tinker Bear. Order yours today.
Kenny Bear's Old Florida Barbecue Rub and Seasoning. Grab a bottle today.
As we're getting ready for the third round here, pretty close fight at this point.
It is, but I'm in total disagreement when any fighter stands up during in between rounds.
Well, like they say, too bad youth is wasted on the young. He's trying to show that he's not tired. But here we go with. I didn't mean to cut you off, Sal, but here we go with Andre Bird trying to get in there and jab and stuff. But again, his hands are way down. If Ray was throwing those punches like he was in the first round, he may be winning on scorecard right now.
I think so. Younger is not. He's not putting enough offensive output at this particular point, as he did in the first round. And like I said, it could be the gas tank.
Yeah, it looks like he's running out of fuel. But again, Andre Bird keeps moving back, Sal. He's delivered. Like right there was a nice two-punch combo, and he takes a step backwards.
Look at it, he's going backwards right now. He's fighting like a counterpuncher. He doesn't have to do that. He could be counterpunching going back, going forward.
But he is delivering that left hook to the body.
He is, but it seems to if Ray Younger. It just seems very predictable. He's doing the same exact thing. He's hooking to the body. He's coming around with that lazy right, and then he backs off. It's like he's doing two punches and backs off, then resets and comes back in. He needs to let his hands go a little more and dominate this fight. I think it's starting to sway towards Andre Bird at this point. We're coming to you live from the Robarts Arena in Sarasota, Florida. Thank you to Perfect Events Promotion and Sarasota BMW, USANA, and a basket case. I'm here with Carl King and Sal Senecola, and we're enjoying the first of 5 scheduled fights, guys.
Absolutely. This is going to be a good warm-up. This is a good opening bout.
Love this kid. The Bird is throwing that left hook to the body. That may have a lot to do with the lack of output from Raynard Younger. I mean, you kill the body, the head will die. And this guy has been firing that left hook pretty doggone good the last couple of rounds.
I would have liked to have seen him work the body a little more earlier in this fight, and he's working the body, but he's mixing it in. He's not. It's only a 4-round fight, so I mean, But really, Sal, to invest in a round or two of pure body punching is not a bad thing.
Not a bad thing, and he could have done that early in the second round, maybe the first, just because he's effective. He's hitting that hook to the liver right there.
Bird is throwing his punches from too far away.
I think he is. He's almost telegraphing, where if we had Younger who was picking up on the ability to counterpunch it, and if he had that ability, he would be landing those shots. 'Cause look how far, look at that left, look how low that is. That's not good. That's down by his knee.
Tell me, Kenny, how is it you rub my belly so fine with that secret rub of yours? And don't even tell me what you're gonna do next. I love you, Kenny Bear. Tell me, Kenny baby, what you gonna do next?
Kenny Bear's Old Florida Barbecue Rub and Seasoning. Grab a bottle today.
Bell to sound the end of the third round. We're just about getting ready for the fourth and final.
History, an evening of world-class professional boxing for your entertainment. Want to remind you, ladies and gentlemen, there is no flash photography tonight. No flash photography, please. Also a reminder, no lighted videotaping, no videotaping of any kind in the arena this evening. Also like to remind the gentlemen, please remove your hats during the presentation of our national anthem. Tonight's bouts are under the auspices of the Florida State Boxing Commission. The chairman is Dr. Mark Williams. The commissioners, Dr. Wayne Kearney, Mr. Antonius DeSisto, Mr. Marco Lopez, and Mr. Tieso Martinez. The executive director is Paul Waters, assistant executive director Frank Gentile. All bouts tonight will be scored under the 10-point must system. For all non-title bouts, the 3 knockdown rule is in effect. For tonight's 2 title bouts, the 3 knockdown rule is waived. Ring officials assigned by the Florida State Boxing Commission, the attending ringside physicians are Dr. Denise Lippin and Dr. Terrace Faulkner. Your judges scoring at ringside are Emo Conforti, Jed O'Connor, Mike Ross, and Florida Boxing Hall of Famer Brian Gary. Counting from the knockdowns will be the alternate referee, and your referees in charge of the action this evening, Emil Lombardi, and former World Cruiserweight Champ and Florida Boxing Hall of Famer James Waring. Also, ladies and gentlemen, one of our judges tonight, Mike Ross from Bradenton, in June will be inducted in the Florida Boxing Hall of Fame. Mike Ross, Bradenton, Florida. Ladies and gentlemen, Friday Night Fights Making History is brought to you by our title sponsor, PerfectEnergySports.com. Our major sponsor this evening, Lori Davis at Just a Basket Chase. Also brought to you by Sarasota Ford, Texas Roadhouse, Budweiser, Bungalow Beach Resort, Faco Air Conditioning. Also special thanks to a Perfect Event SRQ.